Corporate greed has driven companies to hide deadly risks, cut safety corners, and mislead consumers, all to protect profits. From toxic baby formula to deadly car defects, these scandals exposed how far companies will go to put money over lives. Today, we're counting down 10 times corporate greed overrode public safety, where the pursuit of profit led to devastating consequences. 10. Boeing's 737 MAX scandal, 2018 to 2019, rushing production, ignoring safety. Boeing's 737 MAX was meant to revolutionize air travel, but corporate greed cost 346 lives. To cut costs and beat competitors, Boeing rushed production and installed a flawed software system, MCS, that pilots weren't trained to override. Lion Air Flight 610 and Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 crashed due to the defect. Boeing knew about the issue but hid it, leading to a worldwide grounding of the 737 MAX and record-breaking lawsuits. 9. Johnson & Johnson's talcum powder scandal, hiding cancer risks for decades. For over 40 years, Johnson & Johnson knew its talc-based baby powder contained asbestos, a known carcinogen. Internal documents revealed the company manipulated research and misled regulators while selling a product linked to ovarian cancer and mesothelioma. After thousands of lawsuits, J&J finally pulled the product from shelves, but the damage was done. 8. Volkswagen's Dieselgate, 2015, cheating emissions tests. Volkswagen marketed its diesel vehicles as clean, but in reality, the company installed illegal software to cheat emissions tests. In real-world driving, these cars emitted up to 40 times the legal pollution limits, poisoning the environment and endangering public health. When the scandal broke, VW faced billions in fines and recalls, exposing how corporations manipulate regulations to maintain profits. 7. Nestlé's baby formula scandal, 1970 SS present, exploiting vulnerable mothers. Nestlé aggressively marketed infant formula in developing countries, convincing mothers that breastfeeding was inferior. But many families lacked access to clean water, leading to severe malnutrition and infant deaths when formula was mixed with contaminated water. Despite global backlash, Nestlé continued its deceptive marketing for decades, proving that corporate greed has no limits. 6. Ford Pinto, 1970s, profits over exploding cars. Ford knew the Pinto's fuel tank was prone to explosions in rear-end crashes, but instead of fixing the design, they did a cost-benefit analysis and found it was cheaper to pay wrongful death lawsuits than redesign the car. Over 500 people burned to death, and Ford only recalled the Pinto after public outrage. This case became a textbook example of corporate negligence. 5. Purdue Pharma and the Opioid crisis, 1996 present, creating an epidemic. Purdue Pharma, the maker of OxyContin, knowingly downplayed the addictive nature of its opioid painkiller, falsely marketing it as safe and non-addictive. This deception fueled the opioid epidemic, leading to hundreds of thousands of overdose deaths. Even as the crisis worsened, Purdue pushed for higher sales, making billions while families were torn apart. The company eventually faced lawsuits and bankruptcy, but the damage was irreversible. 4. DuPont and Teflon, 1950 S present, poisoning the world with forever chemicals. DuPont knew for decades that its non-stick Teflon chemical, PFOA, was highly toxic, linked to cancer, birth defects, and liver damage. But instead of warning the public, the company dumped the chemicals into waterways, poisoning entire communities. Even when employees started getting sick, DuPont covered up the risks. It took lawsuits and a major investigation to force changes, but PFOA is now in the bloodstreams of 99% of humans worldwide. 3. Leaded gasoline and the long-term cover-up, 1920s to 1990s. For decades, oil companies like Ethel Corporation and General Motors knew that leaded gasoline was toxic, but they deliberately misled the public to keep selling it. Lead poisoning from exhaust fumes caused brain damage, developmental issues, and violent crime spikes. Governments eventually banned leaded fuel, but not before millions of people suffered lifelong harm. 2. The tobacco industry's decades of lies, 1950 present. For decades, major tobacco companies knew smoking caused cancer. Yet they manipulated research, bribed doctors, and launched deceptive marketing campaigns to keep people addicted. Internal documents later revealed they targeted teens and hid nicotine's true dangers. After years of lawsuits and regulations, smoking rates have declined, but the tobacco industry still profits from global addiction. 1. The asbestos industry, selling cancer to the world. 1900 present. Asbestos was used in construction, insulation, and manufacturing, despite overwhelming evidence linking it to lung cancer and mesothelioma. Companies knew as early as the 1930s that asbestos exposure was deadly, but they covered up research and continued selling it. Even today, asbestos is still used in some countries, proving that corporate greed can literally kill. From exploding cars to deadly painkillers, these cases show how corporations will sacrifice public safety for profit. Many of these scandals changed regulations, but only after lives were lost. Which of these outraged you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more shocking stories from history and industry.